me to something about business. 9 o'clock? Come on now. You know better. Don't do that. Set the boundaries, y'all.
I'll focus on me. I forgot that I got it too. I'm not needing you.
Hey guys, it's C. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new here. So today we are doing another life check video. I know I haven't done one, I think, all month, but I wanted to bring this one in. And this one is a very great subject, but also very touchy subject. But I also wanted to make it somewhat of like a mukbang. So I was getting ready to eat, and I was like, I'm gonna just eat and film the video at the same time. I got some Chipotle, and I'll insert a clip below because I did do a close-up of it. But yeah, I just got a chicken bowl, and in my chicken bowls, as I mentioned before, I get brown rice, chicken, I get medium salsa. Sometimes I get hot, but I got medium today, which is basically like pico, but I just get a little bit of it. And then I get the corn, queso, and then shredded cheese on top. But the thing that you need to get, if you've ever tried Chipotle and you didn't like it, I think you probably were missing just this one little ingredient, which is the vinaigrette sauce. I tried Chipotle one time before, like when I first tried it, and I hated it. But my brother Rashad was like, come with me. And I was like, I don't like Chipotle. He said, just come with me. So I went, got the bowl, basically a variation of this. But back then I was eating beef and pork. So I had steak and chicken, and then I had the white rice. But he said, get the vinaigrette and put it on there. And ever since then, I've loved Chipotle. So I always get the vinaigrette. I already put some on there already, but I'm probably gonna end up putting more. But try the vinaigrette. If you tried it and you didn't like it, go back one more time and try the vinaigrette and let me know what you think. But yeah, so today's topic is going to be about boundaries. So let me go ahead and pray. So yeah, so boundaries is definitely a touchy subject. And the reason why I say it's a touchy subject, because it's kind of hard for both sides of the boundary. I'll say that. So if you are a person that's like me, and you've grown up, you've always been the person to look after everybody. You've always been the person to make sure everybody was good, even if that meant detriment to yourself, or even if that meant tiring yourself out, or you know, not taking care of you, or internal thoughts of basically wanting to be a people pleaser. I'm just gonna call a spade, wanting to be a people pleaser and wanting everybody to like you and not wanting to disappoint anybody, then you know that it's hard to set boundaries. And that's how I was. And then on the other side of the boundary is the person who expects people to be like the other person. And they basically feel entitled to that treatment. And they expect that treatment. And it may not be their fault. It may just be how they are, how they were raised or whatever. But when the person on the other side decides to set the boundary and is not available for the other person who expects that, then it's hard for them, because it's just like, what did I do to you? Or what you mean you can't do this, and what you mean you can't do that? The boundary was set, and it's hard, which is why I say it's hard on both sides. So that's the topic I wanted to talk about, because one day I was just riding, and one of my friends, Jay, also my nail tech, owner of Whole Space and Garden, she made a post on Instagram about something somebody said in the gym or whatever, and it talked about some things how we shouldn't say it to people, or you know, whatever. And I was like, that's definitely boundaries. And she was like, yes, and mindfulness. And so she also has a podcast, which is the Whole Space podcast. I'll put the link to the podcast below. It's on like Spotify. I listen to it on Apple Podcasts, but there is on other outlets too, so I'll just leave a link below. But she talked about boundaries, and I listened to her episode about boundaries yesterday. And it's just like, boundaries are so hard for people. But it's like, I want to talk to the person that was like me. If you are somebody that's you are somebody and you don't want to upset people, but you're over there like running yourself crazy, running on empty, always taking the phone calls, always being there for everybody else, always putting yourself last. If you're that person, it's time for you to set some boundaries ASAP. When I tell y'all, it took me, I'm 34 now, it took me a very, very long time to set those boundaries. Like, I believe I didn't set some boundaries until like after 30. And it was like, when I turned 30, I felt like at that point I was grown. It was time. You get tired of being the one running for everybody, being the one always there for everybody. Then you're home, you're tired, you're burnt out, and you're mad, but it's like, you can mad about it with yourself. You did that to you. Other people may have expected it. Some people may not have expected it or asked for it, but the type of person you are, you feel like you should have. And that's fine in some situations, but when it gets to a point where you're on E and you have nothing left, it's time to set a boundary. Sometimes you can't go to the event. Sometimes you can't go to the party. Sometimes you can't answer the phone call when you're supposed to be getting rest for yourself, but yet, here you are again, waking up in the middle of the night to answer the phone call for somebody who may or may not need you. But when are you going to take care of you? When are you going to be able to get the rest? When are you going to be able to get the quiet time to feel like you're not obligated to answer the phone, not obligated to answer the text message? Like, when you going to get fed up? And that's when it changes. That's when the turning point happens, because that's what happened for me. I just got tired, and I was like, I gotta put me first. I had to start loving on me first, because it was like I had no boundaries. It was like I could feel some type of way about something and not say something. Or another one of my friends, Gilly, she talked about how she wished she could set her boundaries, because she was like, she was at the gym and she was working on the machine, using one of the tires outside, and there was another tire available, but somebody walked up to her and was like, can I use this tire? And she wasn't done with it yet, but because she's such a nice person, she was like, oh yeah, that's fine, you can go ahead, knowing that there was another one available. And she was so upset with herself, because she was like, I need to set boundaries, because I could have just said no, or you can use the one over there, or you can wait until I get finished. But she didn't do that because she's a nice person and she didn't have the boundary. And it's true, because it's just like, why is it so hard for the ones of us who are people pleasers or whatever to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that, or no, period. No, I'm not, I'm sorry, because I'm not sorry because I'm taking care of me. So I'm not sorry for taking care of me. I hate that you feel the way you feel because of my boundary, but I'm not sorry about setting the boundary. I'm not sorry about taking care of me. So we have to get to the place where we have to be okay with that. And what Jay said in her podcast, she was like, you know, sometimes you may feel some kind of way because you don't want to hurt people's feelings, but at the end of the day, it's all about you. Like, you can't feel bad because of you know what she said was, you know that nobody was harmed in your decision. So you can't feel bad because nobody was harmed. They may not have liked what you said, but nobody was harmed, so you shouldn't feel bad about that because you have to take care of you. And that's true. But it's time for us to set these boundaries, y'all, and stick with them. Like, don't set the boundary, do it one time, you know, and you pass the test, the boundary test one time. Then somebody comes again, and then you don't want to make them feel bad, so you fail the test. No. Because then you're going to end up regretting it. You're going to end up upset. You're going to end up tired when you could have just set the boundary. No. Yeah, I know y'all see it all the time. All the memes and everything that's going on. No is a complete sentence. No. Can you do this for me? I know you're tired, but can you do this for me? No. Can you make it to my event even though you had a long day? Or even though I never come to your events, but I need you to come to all of mine. So, you coming? No. And that's another thing. you doing everything for everybody else and you're not getting in return, that's where a lot of the boundaries really need to be set. You can't be there for everybody and everybody ain't trying to be there for you. Me and Bay had a conversation recently because it's just like, if you always the one that's going, one of me and one of my other friends and girls have the same conversation. You can't be running for everybody, and then when it's your time to be celebrated, or when it's your time and you're the one in need or whatever, it's just like nobody is there for you. Boundary. Set it. I'm telling y'all, life is so much easier with boundaries. And once you learn to use them, because I'm still learning. Some things I have said no. Some days I don't feel like talking on the phone. I just don't pick my phone up. Boundary set. If I'm tired or I'm drained or I'm just not in the headspace to listen to drama or in the headspace to just talk, if I just want to sit in silence. But if my phone ringing, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm obligated to answer the phone. I'm not obligated to answer the phone. I will get to it when I can get to it, but I gotta take care of me. Maybe I'm not in the mental space to deal with any conversations. But yet, since the boundary is not in place, I'm answering anyway. Why? Like, whatever it is that's bothering you, whatever it is that could be causing you to not set boundaries, and you're tired, you're setting boundaries in friendships or relationships, and you know it's time to cut them off and you're not, because you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, that's a boundary too. What is it serving you? What good is it? What is it doing for your life? Nothing. Set the boundary. It's okay. And for the ones on the other side who expect that for people, and you feel obligated and entitled to people's time, you feel obligated and entitled to people's money or people's whatever, you're going to have to learn to be okay with boundaries. And if you don't, I thought I heard something, but you're going to have to learn to be okay with people's boundaries. You can't continue to try to cross the line or overstep because that's what you've always been allowed to do. It's no. And you're the reason why it's hard for people to set boundaries, honestly. You're the reason why it's hard, because you expect that. And then when they don't, you give them so much grief about it, so they feel so bad. And then it's hard for them to set the boundary. Check yourself. You're not entitled to anybody's time, anybody's attention, anybody's anything but your own. And if you can't deal with that, once people start learning how to set boundaries and being okay with setting boundaries and keeping those boundaries in place, you're going to be a lonely, miserable person if you don't change or if you don't try to respect the boundary. Boundaries are all about respect. Once we all learn to respect each other and give the same thing we expect, it can be a better place. Honestly. For real, like, certain things you used to say and used to do, I always did it before. Well, there wasn't a boundary in place, so now you can't. And you're going to have to be okay with that or move on. Point blank period. So, it's time for us to set some boundaries, and it's time for the others of us to respect the boundaries. It's okay to set the boundary. You're not doing anybody harm but yourself if you don't set the boundary. Set the boundaries. Be okay with that. You don't feel like talking on the phone, they don't. You don't want somebody to talk to you the way they used to talk to you, and they made you feel some type of way. You don't want them to do that. Set the boundary. Let them know you're not going to talk to me like that. Either you're going to respect me and change your tone in your communication, or you're going to be out of my life. Set the boundaries, friends. I'm telling y'all, your life will be so much better. You will have more peace. You'll feel so good that you stuck to something that you said and somebody had to be okay with it. Set boundaries, top tier, y'all. Top tier. You don't have to allow things in your life. It's all on you. This is your life. Y'all know we only get but a certain time in life. Use it the way you need to use it. Use it And let it be a good time. Don't always be, oh, I feel obligated to do this because they did this. So I feel obligated. You don't have to feel obligated. You gotta take care of you. So me and Bay had a conversation the other day. You can't pour from an empty cup. And if you're running on empty, how is anything being done efficiently and effectively? It's not, because something is lacking somewhere. And it's because there's no boundary set. Business owners, I forgot to mention us, y'all. When you run a business, or even just workers in general, 9 to 5 people, 5 o'clock come, set the boundary. Work is over at 5 o'clock. You ain't got to pick your phone, you ain't got to answer emails, because they expect that from you. They pay you from 9 to 5, or whatever your job time frame is. They pay you for that time. After that, that's it. Don't you be home, can't get sleep because you up trying to do something, somebody sent you an email at 6 o'clock. The day was over at 5, so if you didn't get in there by then, sorry, we'll get to it tomorrow. Business owners that set your own schedules and you have clients and stuff, don't allow those clients to call you after your business hours or after time when you're supposed to be having time for yourself, having time for your family, having time for whatever it is that you knew you had time for after that certain time. You work for yourself, set them boundaries. Sorry, but not sorry, you can't call me after a certain time. You can't call me at 9 o'clock and not ask me to fix a problem or ask me to something about business. 9 o'clock, come on now. You know better. Don't do that. Set the boundaries, y'all. Set the boundaries, because you'll work yourself crazy. You'll be stressed, not sleeping good, working yourself, and you drain. And you over here upset, aggravated, drained, tired, and you wondering why. You ain't got no boundaries, friend. I'm telling y'all, set the boundaries and respect the boundaries. Don't let people cross the line, because you know that you wouldn't cross the line with other people, so don't let them do it to you. I'm telling y'all. So I know this is probably not the life check y'all was looking for today, but boundaries are needed, honestly. I'm just saying this because I know how helpful boundaries were to me. And I promise if you set some boundaries in your life, it'll be the same for you. Figure out what you don't want to tolerate anymore. Figure out what it is that's draining you. Figure out what it is that's making you feel uncomfortable or uneasy around people, or anything in life that's making you not feel good. Figure out what it is and set the boundary to cut it off or to put it in its place. It'll do you all the good. But I just want to let y'all know, it might have sounded like I was fussing a little bit, but I'm telling y'all, set the boundary. Boundaries are not easy. Jay, I was listening to a podcast and she was like, they're not easy. They're not, but I promise you, once you set them and you stick with it, and you don't let anybody cross your line, it'll be the best thing ever. Some things I sit back and think about, like, girl, you used to do all that for what? You were so much, I'm so much more peaceful, so much more rested, so much more happy because I set the boundaries, like, and don't feel bad about it. I used to. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you no lie, I did. When I started setting boundaries, I used to feel bad. And I also used to feel like I was missing out, because that was another reason why I was always going and stuff. I used to feel like I was missing out, but it's like there's nothing serving me any good. So I used to feel bad, but now, sure don't. Nope. And you shouldn't either, because you're better because of it, I promise you. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. I don't even know how long it is. I was trying to make this one a long one, because I wanted to get straight to the point. Set the boundaries, friend. Stick with them. Don't let nobody cross the line. Keep them. And add new ones as needed. Add new ones as needed. As you go through life, things change. Situations change. Friendships, relationships, work, things change. Set boundaries as needed. And keep it moving in life. I promise you. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish my food. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you have problems setting boundaries, or if you have set boundaries. If you have set boundaries, what has helped you to set the boundary and keep the boundary in place? What has helped you? Help us help everybody else. I'm telling you, let us all help each other. Let us know what you've done to keep your boundaries in place. And also, if you're struggling to set boundaries, say that too, because we can help you and encourage you to do so. And I promise you, you'll feel much better. And if you don't have boundaries and you set them and you start seeing good changes in your life, come back to this video and comment and let me know. Or inbox me on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, the same name, at KeepinUpWithCe. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish my food, but I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And as always, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with somebody. And I'll see y'all in my next one. I love y'all. Bye.